Good morning, ladies, gents, and Pikachus. Welcome back to another edition of Unicorn News. So I'm going to keep the voice down and the histrionics to a minimum because it's very fucking early in the morning. But I have a very important story to tell you about COVID. Woo! COVID, Ebola, SARS, the fucking lot, all different things. And that story is this. There has been found in America to be illegal biolabs run by the Chinese Communist Party. Now, this was known about some time. The last one was actually in November, this month, this year. So it was literally like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It's funny how we haven't been told about this, isn't it? Like, BBC won't fucking touch it for some reason, and no news outlets of any repute. I'm going to start using that word slightly differently now. None of these guys want to touch this story. So I'm going to tell you about it now. And what happened was this. Somebody saw a hose pipe sticking out of a little drilled hole in a wall in what was supposed to be a derelict warehouse, okay? So like a rundown building with crumbling roofs and walls, no drainage. Supposedly the electric should have been switched off. Weird how no one noticed that there was shitloads of power going through this building and it had water connected, isn't it? That's a very odd thing. And what they were doing inside this derelict building, they being these Chinese spies, what they were doing, they had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of transgenic mice for testing. Now, a transgenic mouse is a normal mouse that's been engineered to have human DNA inside it, right? And the reason they have these transgenic mice with the human DNA is so they can test different medicines upon these mice, and it mimics the result and the effect that it would have on you or I, you know, human beings, and unicorns that used to be human beings. So it's funny how these things happen, isn't it? I'm sure there's some here in London. I've heard rumblings about Camden. Camden has a few of these things. So what happened to this one in America is finally, after months and months of talking, the WHO, the World Health Organization, they were asked to investigate this in August, September, October, November. Look at that, 4 months of them not investigating. And they said they weren't interested. Nah, it'd be fine. There's nothing in there. That's a bit suspicious on its own. But anyway, finally the police went in like the US Marshals, fucking kicked the door in. They took everything, they took all the people as prisoners. And what they found in there, along with these mice, was lots and lots of unsafe, unhealthily contained containers full of different diseases. So they had COVID, they had SARS, they had Ebola, they had sinusitis, they had herpes, they had HIV, all the fucking big ones that we don't know how to cure, and all the nasty ones which have a vaccine, but that have killed millions and millions of people. They were all just lying about in fridges in this fucking derelict building. Now, I don't need to tell you, the WHO, if they were worth their salt, which they clearly fucking not, by the way, after this, if they were worth their salt, they would have been immediately rushing in there, arresting everyone in there, and investigating what the fuck these weirdos were doing with all these dangerous diseases in test tubes, and why they needed hundreds and hundreds of transgenic mice to test them on. Because if you think about it, all that would have needed to happen was some of these mice to escape into the town, the American town in which this thing was in, and then, you know, they started biting people, and we would have had outbreaks of all these different diseases. Now, the other thing to note is the diseases they had in the vials, in the test tubes, yes, they were the recognisable diseases, Ebola, HIV, herpes, COVID, these kind of things. But the mice had mutated versions injected into them. Some of them died straight away just from having the disease, and some of them were living quite happily with it because they'd also had a dose of vaccine. So what that means is these mice would have survived. So if they'd have run away out the building, they could be going around biting people, giving them these horrible diseases, and then surviving and running on to different places. So nobody would have been any the wiser why they were getting these horrible outbreaks of diseases that shouldn't possibly be seen in America, because they don't have them there, you know. Nobody would have had any idea. Nobody would have been any the wiser why all these people were dying and these fucking outbreaks were happening. And the net result, dear ladies, gents and Pikachus, for these poor American towns would have been this. The economy would have fucking nosedived, people would have started panicking and moving out, and in all probability they would have had to shut the town and lock it down, and people would have been rather unhappy with this, and they would be blaming the American government, because they're not going to know, well they do now, but they wouldn't have known that it was actually the Chinese Communist Party that was funding these things and these diseases and these illegal biolabs. Like I said before, isn't it weird how the BBC didn't bother to tell any of us this? Not even since they found one in Camden, like I say, you know, there's rumblings that there's more. So, in conclusion, be very wary of any mice you see. Don't let them run up and fucking nip you, because you may get herpes, AIDS, COVID, SARS, Ebola. Fuck knows, you could get any number of these horrible diseases. And you, dear lady or gent or Pikachu, whichever one you are, you could be the source of a new outbreak that kills millions of fucking people who are completely unaware that these things are happening. And obviously you would have been blaming your government and shouting, "Oh, down with the government!" But then what do you think happens? What do you think happens after something like that? You would think that the army would rush in, secure the area, make sure there's no more biolabs. You'd think the World Health Organization, if they were worth their salt, which they're fucking not, but if they were, they would have rushed in and secured everything, and the papers would have been going on about this for fucking months. But we haven't heard a single word. No. I tried to put a video up last week about this, and guess what? It was immediately nipped in the fucking bud, and I tried and I tried and I tried like 10 times. I just could not get this video to go up or stay up. I tried a community post, that didn't stay up. So I thought, well, I can't do a video with that title then, or with that content. Unicorn News to the rescue. They're definitely not going to look inside this video. They're certainly not going to watch 6 minutes through to see whether me, a Pikachu dressed up unicorn who used to previously be a human male, will be talking to this and telling you these things which BBC will not. So that's the end of this video. Have a good day. It's going to be fucking freezing out there. Wear some gloves and thick socks because it ain't going to be warm. But just keep in mind, if you see anything dodgy like this, if you see a derelict building with a car parked outside it, or a hose pipe sticking out of a hole in the wall, or lights on, or you can hear humming of extractor fans and such, don't get on the phone to the WHO, because they will not care. In fact, they will probably hush you up rather than the illegal biolab. So yeah, just another thing to worry about, just another coincidence, I'm sure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Just quickly, if you or anyone you know sees or hears anything dodgy about a biolab, or if you have suspicions of yourself, please feel free to get in contact with me fucking immediately, and I will make a video quick fucking step. So that's the end of it for today. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you next time.